I'm Scott Baker. After co-hosting dozens of podcasts with Dr. Sean Riley from Tulsa Spine and Rehab, I thought I had a pretty good handle on the world of chiropractic care. It wasn't until I recently needed care myself that I realized how many questions I still had. Unfortunately for me, I don't live in Oklahoma, so going to see Dr. Riley wasn't a viable option. So I set about choosing the right doctor and found it's not so easy. Perhaps that's something you're experiencing right now. Here, I share my story with Dr. Riley and get some of his thoughts. So, Dr. Riley, here's my story. About 4 months ago, I think I injured my back running through the airport in Chicago. I had one of these carry-on bags. Running through the airport, didn't feel anything at the time, nothing, no magical pop or anything like that. The next morning, woke up kind of tight. The following day, even more so. And by the third day, could barely walk. Couldn't walk at all. When I got back to my hometown, I went to go see my primary care doc, and he set me up with pain meds. That worked pretty well, Took pain meds for about a week, and everything seemed to be fine. Didn't think of anything more of it after that. Fast forward 4 months, and I'm on family vacation. I'd long forgotten the pain meds, didn't bring them with me, and I'm out playing in the ocean with the waves. And suddenly, same feeling, same pain, back. By the time it was time to come back home, I could barely walk. I could barely get in my car to drive home. So it was the same pain, that sort of thing. So I decided, I could mask the pain with more meds, or I can maybe do something about it so I wouldn't have to experience it again. So that's probably a common story that you hear, is people trying to at least get to the source, because pain meds just mask it, don't they?
Sure. And, I'm glad that you reached out to me with this, your personal story. I appreciate you sharing that with us, Scott, because this is I would say it's very typical, maybe one of the most typical or common things that I see here in the clinic. I'm dealing with relatively healthy folks, as yourself. You go about your life, your work and so forth, and our margin for error is pretty good, and we can escape, low back injuries and so forth. And then something as simple as, going through the airport in Chicago there with a piece of luggage, you develop a little low back pain or significant low back pain. And it's the first step. I mean, it's very common. The primary care doctor, that's always been kind of the a conduit, or they're the first person or first line of defense with any type of low back injury. The sad thing, or unfortunately, with a primary care physician, it's not bad necessarily, but pain medication or some type of medication's the thing that they're going to, recommend. Primary care physicians see everything from like a common cold to maybe a broken bone to a sinus infection to, general low back pain. So there's a broad scope of things that those type of providers see. And, that's just kind of a very typical protocol for low back injuries. So you take the medications, you start to feel better a few days later, and then it's very common, probably, it's very typical for, 4 months later, you say, for you to be on vacation in the ocean, and then you experience the same type of issue. So at some point, that's why here at Tulsa Spine and Rehab, we talk about cooperation with other healthcare providers. And so I've done my best to educate a lot of primary care physicians here in town, internal medicine physicians, that there are options for folks just like you, Scott. So you head into your primary care physician, and let's say that I have a relationship with them, and they know that, medications could be a good first line defense to make you feel better. But obviously something underlying might be going on, and so they make a recommendation for you to come to the clinic or, to another chiropractic office. And from there, maybe we can work you up a little more in detail on, okay, here are some of the underlying factors. Oh, we spoke about this in the past, Scott. You sit at a desk for extended periods. You may have some mobility issues or some stability issues. And so there's some things in cooperation with the medications that we can do, whether it's activity modification, manipulation, exercise recommendations we can make, hopefully, so the problem doesn't come back. So, I think the medication's a good option for a lot of folks. It's going to make you feel better, but I'm a big believer that maybe going a little bit deeper to determine if there's some underlying issues and not just treating the symptoms, maybe we can make some simple recommendations so the problem doesn't come back.
Join us next time as we continue this conversation regarding common back pain and taking those first steps to the chiropractor. For more episodes of Spine Fit Radio, visit TulsaSpineandRehab.com.